In the early 1990s, I found myself embarking on a journey to Kazakhstan, a land nestled in the heart of Central Asia, a nation at a crossroads following the dissolution of the Soviet Union. This was a time of profound change, a moment when the echoes of a vast empire still lingered in the air, yet the winds of independence were beginning to stir. My visit was not merely a tourist's exploration. It was a pilgrimage of sorts, a search for understanding in a landscape rich with history, culture, and the complexities of identity. Arriving in Aktobe, I was struck by the vastness of the steppe, the way it stretched endlessly under the expanse of sky, punctuated only by the occasional yurt or herd of sheep. The city itself was a blend of Soviet-era architecture and burgeoning signs of a new national identity. I had relatives in the region, a mix of Ukrainian and Russian heritage, who had settled here during the Soviet era. Their stories painted a vivid picture of life in Kazakhstan, a tapestry woven with threads of various ethnicities and cultures. As I stepped into their home, the warmth of their hospitality enveloped me like a soft blanket. The aroma of plov simmered on the stove, a dish that transcended borders, embodying the shared culinary heritage of the region. My relatives spoke Russian fluently, a remnant of the Soviet past, and I quickly learned that in Aktobe, Russian was not just a language, but a bridge connecting diverse communities. It was the lingua franca that allowed conversations to flow freely, yet it also served as a reminder of the complexities of identity in a nation striving to assert its independence. The streets of Aktobe were alive with a mix of cultures. I wandered through bustling markets where vendors sold everything from fresh produce to handmade crafts, the air filled with the melodic sounds of Kazakh and Russian conversations. I was eager to engage with the local Kazakhs, to learn about their lives, their dreams, and their aspirations in this newly independent country. The initial warmth I encountered was palpable. There was a genuine curiosity in their eyes as they welcomed me into their world. Yet, beneath the surface of this hospitality lay a deeper loyalty to their own ethnic group, a bond forged through centuries of history and tradition. Building friendships with Kazakhs proved to be a delicate dance. There were moments of laughter and shared stories, but I often sensed an invisible barrier that kept me at arm's length. It was not animosity, but rather a protective instinct, a desire to preserve their cultural identity in a world that was rapidly changing. The Kazakhs I met were proud of their heritage, and while they were open to friendship, there was an unspoken understanding that their bonds with one another were rooted in a shared history that I could only begin to grasp. Kazakhstan is a land of moderate Muslims, a fact that intrigued me as I navigated the cultural landscape. The Kazakhs I encountered practiced a form of Islam that was deeply intertwined with their identity. Yet it was not the aggressive or radical form that one might associate with the religion in other parts of the world. Instead, I found a gentle spirituality that permeated their daily lives. It was evident in their rituals, their respect for elders, and their emphasis on community. They celebrated their faith with a quiet dignity, blending it seamlessly with the customs of their ancestors. In conversations with my relatives, I learned about the significance of hospitality in Kazakh culture. It was not merely a social nicety, it was a sacred duty. Guests were treated with the utmost respect, offered the best food and drink, and welcomed into the heart of the family. This sense of community was palpable in Aktobe, where neighbors looked out for one another, and gatherings were filled with laughter, music, and shared stories. It reminded me of my own upbringing, where family and community were the cornerstones of life. As I spent more time in Aktobe, I began to appreciate the nuances of Kazakh culture. Their traditional music, often accompanied by the dombra, a two-stringed instrument, resonated with a deep sense of longing and joy. I attended a local performance where singers shared tales of love, loss, and the beauty of the steppe. It was here that I first heard the name Dimash, a young singer whose voice would later captivate audiences around the world. The pride the locals felt for him was palpable, a testament to the rich cultural heritage that was blossoming in the wake of independence. Despite the challenges of forging deeper connections, I found solace in the shared experiences of our histories. My relatives spoke of their own struggles, the hardships faced during the Soviet era, and the hope that independence had brought. They shared stories of resilience, of a people who had endured and emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. In those moments, I felt a kinship that transcended borders, a bond forged in the fires of history. As my visit drew to a close, I reflected on the complexities of identity that I had encountered in Kazakhstan. The interplay of cultures, the rich tapestry of ethnicities, and the spirit of community were all woven together in a way that was both beautiful and intricate. I left Aktobe with a deeper understanding of the Kazakh people, their struggles, and their triumphs. I had witnessed a nation on the brink of transformation, a place where the past and future collided in a dance of hope and resilience. In the years that followed, Kazakhstan would continue to evolve, carving out its place on the world stage. Yet, my memories of that visit in the early 1990s remain etched in my heart, a reminder of the power of connection, the beauty of cultural diversity, and the enduring spirit of a people who, despite their complexities, welcomed me into their world with open arms.